I'm Joe from Gracia. This is the Rorschach, Georgia update from the 29th of January, 2026. Quick summary of what's going down in Georgia. Friday the 23rd, a Georgian court sentenced 5 pro-European demonstrators to jail for standing on a sidewalk near Parliament. This marks the first time authorities have applied a restrictive new law that bans protesters from blocking pedestrian walkways. Judges handed down 4 to 5 days of administrative detention. The Ministry of Internal Affairs accused the convicts of hindering public movement. Ruling party passed these legal changes in December of last year, effectively requiring police permission for sidewalk demonstrations. While the public defender is currently challenging these rules in the Constitutional Court, several other activists now face potential criminal charges for repeated offenses. Next up, on Tuesday, 27th, Russian opposition channel Dozhd reported that Georgian authorities arrested former Russian official Mikhail Timofeyev following a request from Moscow. Timofeyev, who served as an assistant to a regional governor in Russia, sought political asylum in Georgia in March 2024 to escape government persecution. On Friday, the 23rd, a Georgian court ordered his pretrial detention for 3 months, giving Russia time to formalize its extradition request. Dozhd reports the Georgian government based this action on a request from Moscow, as Interpol removed Timofeyev from its wanted list in 2025. Lawyers for the detainee emphasized that he suffers from serious health issues, requires constant medical supervision. Meanwhile, Monday the 26th, an officer from the anti-corruption agency was found dead inside his car. The vehicle was parked directly outside the headquarters of the State Security Service, which oversees the agency. Investigators found the employee with a fatal gunshot wound, discovered a note left on the passenger seat. Security officials state that the man arrived at work early, retrieved a weapon from the office, and then returned to his private car. While the Tbilisi prosecutor's office opened an investigation, his colleagues noted that he had been recently struggling with health issues following surgery abroad. Since we mentioned the State Security Service, on Tuesday the 27th, their investigators entered major supermarket chains across Georgia to collect financial documents and software information. The action followed a meeting between Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze and retail executives to address high food prices. Kobakhidze pointed out that the price of products often jumps by 86%, according to him, between the time those products enter the country and when they reach the store shelf. He suggested that businesses might be secretly working together to keep those prices high. Government also formed a special commission to investigate why food, medicine, and fuel remain so expensive. On Saturday the 24th, 2 people were gunned down in Mukhrani in eastern Georgia. Attackers opened fire on Zuda Samanishvili and Gia Kalargiani in the center of town where they were exiting their car. Both men died on the spot. The attackers fled the scene. 2 days later, the police arrested 2 suspects, both of whom had previous criminal records. Reason for the attack is currently unknown. Local media reported that one of the victims, Kalargiani, was a former soldier, while the other, Samanishvili, was a well-known criminal authority. A restaurant brawl became one of the most viral stories in Georgia this week. Initially, media outlets reported that the fight broke out in a restaurant in Tbilisi, western Georgia, between members of the criminal police and the security police. Both departments are part of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. What made news go viral was an alleged reason for the conflict. One of the witnesses said that the security police officer asked for a song by the Russian chanson singer Mikhail Shufutinsky, who is very popular among professional criminals. The officer of the criminal police department took offense at this, which resulted in a fight. Authorities later confirmed that an officer from the Department of Defense was also involved in the attack. 4 people were arrested but were released on bail the next day. Similar news, on Tuesday the 27th, police arrested David Shadashidze, the chairman of the Chokhatauti City Council and its former mayor from the Georgian Dream or the Kotsevi Party, following a violent incident in Ozergeti in western Georgia. A politician and 2 other individuals attacked an off-duty police officer at a local restaurant after a verbal dispute turned physical. The officer suffered multiple injuries to his face and body during the group assault. While authorities quickly detained Shadashidze, the other 2 suspects fled the scene and remain at large. Unusual incident among unusual incidents happened in front of the 51st Public School in Tbilisi on Wednesday the 21st. A man crashed his car into a nearby fence and then proceeded to have a standoff with the police while armed with knives in each hand. Police used special foam against him, which caused him to slip on the ice, at which point police rushed to arrest him. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. During the initial court hearing, the accused said that he had mental problems and was currently undergoing psychological treatment. He said that during the incident, he thought he was on a battlefield in Iraq. Watch the video of the incident and the link in the show notes. Monday the 26th, the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva reviewed Georgia's human rights record, drawing sharp criticism from a long list of international partners. Representatives from several countries, including Luxembourg, Malta, Poland, Portugal, and Romania, voiced serious concerns. They criticized the Georgian government for passing repressive laws such as the Foreign Agent and Anti-LGBT Acts, which they say stifle free speech, as of course they do. They called for the release of political prisoners and an end to political violence against protesters. The only praise Georgia's ruling party got was from Russia. Russian delegates specifically applauded Georgia for its reforms in the police and judiciary, its fight against corruption, and its strategies for protecting vulnerable groups. On Thursday, the 22nd, Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze called for the return of public debates to help citizens make informed choices. He believes that outside influences previously destroyed Georgia's culture of debate by replacing real issues with artificial problems. The Speaker of Parliament, Shalva Papouashvili, later clarified that the ruling party will only debate opponents who respect the constitutional order and the results of stolen elections. He didn't actually say stolen. By this, he means the opposition must formally recognize the legitimacy of the current government in 2024 election results, as well as the state's legal framework. He insists that radical groups and certain media outlets must stop acting against those principles before they can participate. Tuesday, the 27th, the American political newspaper The Hill reported that Texas oil executive and Republican donor Steve Nicandros is lobbying against the Megobari Act. This bipartisan bill would sanction Georgian officials for their anti-democratic actions and growing ties with Russia. Nicandros, who heads Frontera Resources, sent a letter to a Republican politician on the 19th of January saying that these sanctions would harm American business interests in Georgia. He said that he had already invested over $500 million in the country, and his company is currently planning a new $100 million investment program over the next 2 years. So his relationship with the Georgian government, he wants to keep it on the up and up. He argues that the Kotsevi government is actually a conservative ally and that the United States should support them. Yikes. Anybody in Houston want to call him? Finally, in an opinion piece for OC Media entitled Tracing Ivanishvili's Rise to Power, Helena Bedwell takes a deep dive into the backstory of Bidzina Ivanishvili, founder of the ruling party and richest man in Georgia, offering a rare personal look at the man behind the curtain. The article covers his transformation from a mysterious giraffe-owning billionaire into a leader Bedwell describes as a disappointed savior now gripped by paranoia. Details how his personal financial war with Swiss bankers morphed into a national obsession with what he calls the global war party conspiracies. By connecting his history of philanthropy to his authoritarian turn, Bedwell highlights how one man's private frustrations are now steering Georgia's entire geopolitical orbit away from the EU and democracy and towards Russia. Read the full article in English with the link in the show notes. And that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. Nachwandis.